Welcome to Patty's World, where we talk everything mindset, manifestation, and really creating the life of your dreams because you're absolutely worthy. And today I want to talk about how do you know you're making the shifts? How do you know there's movement? How do you know that you're changing? What is it you're going to start to see as you start to get into the spiritual universal laws? Law of assumption specifically is what I tend to talk the most about, but I'll cover a little bit of law of attraction and law of resonance. But essentially, they all tie into each other. But how do you know you've made that shift? And I've had a lot of people ask me on TikTok. And there's three ways that I'm going to say, but there are other things that you'll begin to see. But here are the three main things that I noticed within myself and that you may start to be seeing already, even though maybe you don't have your manifestation yet or your SP may not be back. However, here's what you're going to start to see and feel and how you're going to operate. The shifts you're starting to notice. First and foremost, you're just going to feel better. The internal shifts happen within first. If you're feeling better about yourself and the world around you, then you're absolutely 100% shifting. You're no longer that old identity, and that old version of you. And remember, we're always evolving, we're always shifting. And if you're really working on subconscious mind reprogramming and doing all these techniques and affirming and every day stepping into that new version of you or that new identity, you really are just going to start to feel better about yourself, because that's what law of assumption is. What you believe and assume about yourself and the world around you. So your beliefs and assumptions are going to level up. You're going to believe better and assume better about yourself. You're going to believe you're worthy. You're going to believe you're deserving. You're going to believe you're loved. You're going to believe you're chosen. You're going to treat yourself better, but you're just going to feel better. And you'll notice that things that used to trigger you no longer do. This is one of the things that I got that aha moment, is that things that used to irritate you or frustrate you or trigger you no longer do. And I was like, oh man, that didn't bother me. It just slid right off me, or I don't care, or somebody else's comment, anything. It doesn't bother you. And you're moving through life with more ease. So that shift and the change happens first within, because you're just reprogramming who you are and you're living and operating from a new version, a new identity. Because we only have the present moment. And anytime you're reprogramming old limiting beliefs or releasing them, dissolving them, and reprogramming your mind to more empowered beliefs that serve you, you're just going to operate from that core belief, that core assumption. And so I noticed with myself is that I went to a very neutral, happy, expectant baseline emotion. Happy, neutral, joyous, very expectant for all the good things that are coming into my life. And I expect that I get everything I want. And I talked about this in my TikTok, so I'm expounding on here, is that I have core beliefs and assumptions that I operate off of. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out in my favor. I always get what I want. I don't chase, I attract. And because I operate from those core beliefs, well, first and foremost, I love myself and I'm worthy of all good things that life has to offer. I align with better and more elevated experiences, people, circumstances, things show up in my life. Which brings me to the second thing that you're going to start to notice as you're feeling better about yourself. People are treating you better. All around, all your relationships, every relationship, whether love, whether family, whether at work with your coworkers, the cashier at the coffee shop or the checkout place, everything, life is just treating you better. The universe is treating you better. Your assumptions about yourself and what you believe you're worthy of, you're aligning with more elevated experiences because your natural core beliefs about yourself are more elevated. You're operating from a new self-concept, a higher self-concept. You've raised your standards, whatever you want to call it and however you want to define it. Your core frequency that you're vibrating from, you're attracting better, or you're resonating better. Law of resonance. Remember, we don't attract what we want, we attract what we are. So when you have an elevated self-concept and you believe great things about yourself, you will resonate with more of the same. And everyone will treat you better all around. People are inviting you to things, people are including you, people are complimenting you. You notice it. Even if your SP isn't back yet, maybe they start to come in and out, but you're evolving and you're changing just from people or situations that you really don't have a lot of resistance or haven't built up a lot of stories around it, that all around your everyday experience is just more elevated. And number 3, and this is a big one, signs and synchronicities. You will start to experience signs and synchronicities. The repeating numbers, the 111, the 222, the 333, the 888, the 1111, especially at times when you're having an internal dialogue and you're wondering, what do I do? Should I do this? And you're asking your higher self, you're going within. You're tapping into God, source, the power within you, the power that creates worlds, and you get confirmations in your external reality. With the repeating numbers, I see it, my spirit animals or hummingbirds or butterflies. I will see a butterfly or I will see a hummingbird, a picture in a book, in a commercial, and it confirms the direction that I'm moving in. It confirms alignment. The repeating numbers confirm alignment, that your subconscious programming and your conscious beliefs have merged or are merging or operating from the same vibrational level. You're essentially a conscious creator and you're getting confirmation of alignment. So you'll see the signs and the synchronicities. Here are the synchronicities. You can think about someone and they call you or they text you. You can think you need something and it shows up, or somebody recommends it, or you see it in a commercial. It's almost like, and here's how I describe it, because it's like magic. You have a request, you make it to the universe, and they deliver, they answer. You don't even have to make the request. You can just think about it, and it shows up in your external reality. Your 3D world, the world of the 5 senses, will reflect it. So those are some of the synchronicities and signs. I had a client who needed a pen. She needed to write something down, and in the next couple of minutes, she sees a pen on the ground. Those kind of things that you think like, God, wouldn't it be great if I had a parking spot right at the front and there's one waiting for you at the right time? Or people are giving you free things, they're buying you coffee, they're paying for you, you're making friends, just more elevated experiences about yourself. And everyone's just treating you better. So you're aligned. And even when undesired experiences may show up. And remember, everything's here to serve you and to benefit you. If you approach life from that mindset that this is here to serve me and that everything works out in my favor, which is the assumption and a belief that I attach to everything, like I said, a core belief, that even if something's undesired and may trigger me, well, I go back to myself. I'm like, okay, why does this show up? What limiting belief am I still holding on to? What do I need to release? What do I need to let go of? And what new belief do I need to affirm? What do I need to claim about myself, the situation, and how do I change it? Because remember, you're always the operant power. And operant power just means that you're the one that decides what happens in your world through your beliefs and your assumptions. And life is a mirror. It's always reflecting you and what you believe about yourself and the world around you. So the signs and synchronicities will be incredible. I see my birthday too. That's another one. I see my birthday in license plates, in time, in numbers, in receipts. It's crazy the things that you start to experience with signs and synchronicities. And they just show up. And for me, I tell you, I'm at the place now where I can think of something and it shows up in my life. Or I can make a request of like, it would be great. Wouldn't it be awesome if I could have this, or I found this, or this worked out. And the universe delivers. And it shows up in my life. The answer, whatever I'm looking for, a recommendation, whatever it is, I'm telling you, everything always works out in my favor. That's one of my operating core beliefs. So you need to have some for you, develop some, absolutely borrow that one, because I borrowed it from Abraham Hicks. And Abraham Hicks has also talked about those repeating numbers when people have asked. And she just says it's just evidence of alignment, that you're aligned, that you're operating or vibrating off of high emotions, high core beliefs about yourself. And the universe is always speaking to you, always. If we listen, and the more awareness you have, the more you'll see the universe is always speaking to you and through you through signs and synchronicities. Even conversations, like you can have a question in your mind, wonder something, and somebody will give you the answer in a conversation, completely different setting. I mean, I've had crazy experiences like that. And in the beginning, I was like, wait, what is this? And now I know that it's the universe confirming or answering me or engaging with me, because you always have source, higher intelligence, God, whatever you want to call it, that God within you, because God is within you. He's not sitting on a throne on top of you, but you're always getting confirmation and you're always getting answers and you're always getting yes. You just have to listen to those signs, those synchronicities, the better treatment. And first and foremost, you feel the internal shifts because you're going to feel better about yourself. The obsessiveness or the rumination or your default to negative endings or worst case scenarios just dissipates. You no longer struggle with that. I noticed that within myself when I first started to get into this, and really it was law of assumption. One of the things that I first noticed, and when I started meditating, is that I struggled with bad abandonment issues. This was years ago. Years ago. I don't anymore at all. And so anytime I felt any inclination of rejection or abandonment, it would really trigger me and I felt that wounding. I don't struggle with that anymore. When I when you're not included or something, if someone falls off, I don't default to that anymore. I just think we're not in alignment. People fall off because we're at different places, and I wish them well, I release them, and I move on with my life. We're just not aligned. But I don't struggle from emptiness or that void or abandonment or rejection at all. Period. Point blank. It just goes away. It dissipates. For me, it was a lot of meditation and subconscious reprogramming. But those are the big things, the changes that you're going to start to see. And they're not the only ones. I heard another coach or someone talking about this, that your need to people please or to get approval or validation from external sources goes away, which is another one. Like, you don't really care what people think anymore. It doesn't bother you. If someone else's opinion means nothing because you're good within yourself and you're peaceful and you're calm within yourself, which ties into you're just feeling better. You're not looking for external validation. And then you also feel the guidance within, that anytime you have a question or something, a decision to make, you always go within. You're no longer asking people for their opinion because you know what is true and real for you. And remember, God is within you. You can just tap into source and get your answers and confirmation. And like I'm saying, the universe, higher intelligence, higher mind, infinite intelligence is always answering and is always communicating with you through your intuition, but also through external ways. You're always getting answers. So I hope that helps. I'd love to hear your feedback and some of the experiences that you've had as you've gone through your own spiritual awakening and this journey as you start to implement spiritual universal laws. Thank you for joining me, and I appreciate it. And if there's anything else you want me to talk about, go ahead and let me know in the comments. And thank you so much. We'll see you on the next version or episode of Patty's World here on YouTube.